Thank you for letting me know. What's up, YouTube? Are you working? Is it working here? Are we good? Check it and let me know. Okay, cool. Let me know, Luke. Appreciate that. There we go. And come on, YouTube. Don't do this. There we go. Alright, cool. There we go. We good to go. Thank you so much, Luke. Appreciate that, man. Alright, so for all those that missed it on YouTube, welcome back. Please like or comment down below if you haven't done so already on the YouTube channel. Share the stream. Let's get to 500. Alright, let's get back to the content. Since this is a reset of the stream, we'll go ahead and talk about what we missed there. Facebook, y'all are already hearing this, so y'all are gonna hear it again. So I'm multi-streaming. Alright, YouTube people, I'm only going to cover this for 2 minutes, alright? And I've got relevant points to make that connect to the Carolina Panthers. Otherwise, I would not be mentioning this, alright? So anybody that thinks I have a Clemson bias right now, I have 2 points to make, alright? So don't jump down my throat for that, alright? Y'all already know I'm a Clemson fan. So don't do that, alright? Don't come up in here doing that. Alright. That being said, if you watched Clemson this entire year and you watched DJ go in as the starting quarterback, you notice these games get really tight at the end. Against plays that he keeps running and power runs. Stop me if this sounds familiar. Stop me if this sounds familiar, y'all. And then Cade had to come in as the backup Clemson quarterback and clean up. You know, and put up 17 against Syracuse and win the game. You know, in just the fourth quarter alone. Cade is the answer to your problem in Clemson. I don't know why Dabo is so stubborn and sticking with DJ right now. Because it ain't working. But regardless, he is. And he stuck with him for 4 whole quarters against Notre Dame. And you saw the result. I mean, we've been warning him. Clemson fans have been warning him all year. And he ain't listening. I don't know what it is. But he's pulling a Matt Rule this week by leaving DJ in there. And it's disappointing, man. Because he played himself out of a national championship by doing this. That's a little heartbreaking. But, you know, we'll get to a bowl. We'll probably win the ACC championship. You know, no big deal. I ain't worried about it. But the fact that DJ was in there for 4 whole quarters put pressure on the defense, who was out there too long. Now, again, stop me if this sounds familiar. Didn't we just deal with this up in Charlotte? Didn't we just deal with that? Come on. So, the reason I'm saying this is, you don't want Dabo coming up in the coaching carousel up here. You know, he's on the list as a possible viable candidate for Carolina Panthers. Keep that in mind. He's on the list. And you don't want a head coach that does this. Now, I don't know. Maybe this is just a one-off thing, but his dedication to DJ is worrying me. And I've seen him do the polar opposite of this since he started out that job in Clemson. I've even met the man in person. All right? So I don't get this fascination with DJ. I really, really don't. But the patterns are clear. Clear as day. And like I said, man, they take that level of play into the South Carolina Gamecock team, they're going to lose. That's just plain and simple. They put DJ on the way in against the Gamecocks, they're going to lose for 4 quarters. Point blank, period. They had the same issues we had when we had Matt Rule as the head coach, and he kept putting in Sam Darnold last year. Did y'all notice that? I saw it. I saw it, man. And I could not believe my eyes. I was like, did Matt Rule and Dabo switch places for a week? What the heck is going on here? This is such a weird year. In some ways I like it, in some ways I don't. You know what I mean? That's one of the few ways I don't like it. But, point being, man, I don't know if this is just a one-off thing. So that's why I'm saying hold off. If you're taking Dabo off your list of head coaching possibilities, hold the phone, because it might just be a one-off thing. So I don't know what's going on there, but hopefully Clemson fans, we can come together and get to the bottom of this. If you're a Clemson fan that's in this crew, maybe we can come together and all try to get to the bottom of that and keep Dabo on that list and not have to take his name off. But right now, Steve Wilkes has won this job. To me, Steve Wilkes has won it. No question. In my mind. I've been watching this dude for 3 weeks now. This is a total 180. What other head coach has come into Carolina and pulled a total 180? Find me one. Not even Ron pulled that off. And Ron, back in the day, when he was competitive, he was a ball of fire as a head coach. And not even he pulled that off. John Fox got lucky. I'll say that. John Fox got lucky. He put together a real crew. And it happens every once in a decade. But, from this team right now that just needed some coaching. Go figure, right? Alright, so I'm hearing this week that Terrence Marshall Jr. is getting more reps. And I'm very, very happy about that. Because, getting back to Panthers content here. And I've watched Terrence Marshall Jr. in training camp this year, and he clearly won over everybody in that wide receiver room in training camp. It was obvious. Plain as day obvious. I probably would have said Shi Smith was next. But, yeah, he comes in and balling out of the the second stringers, with the twos and threes, and I'm like, yeah, this dude's one. This dude's making the roster, no question. That's our number 3 wide receiver right there, behind Robbie and DJ, no doubt. And we're starting to spread this ball around. We're starting to move it around. We're starting to get something going here, man. And we had a pretty good rushing game from Foreman, man. After CMC's gone in that trade. I feel like we got a little something going here, don't y'all? 34 points. Yeah, it's looking good. Now that we don't have those Matt Rule training wheels on no more, man. We got the mountain bikes out here on the mountains. We hitting the trails right now. We got our backpacks on. We're on our mountain bikes. We hitting the trails with this offense. I'm liking it. It feels good. We're starting to get some of that mountain air. We're starting to enjoy it. Starting to feel like a camping trip out here, man. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. How many of y'all feeling that adrenaline right now going into this Bengals game? How many of y'all feeling it? Because I'm feeling it all week this week. Real talk, I've been feeling it all week. I don't know if we can take these Bengals, but I'm going to tell you this. We're going to put up a doggone good fight. And that's all right. This is a great measuring stick for us. Whether we win or lose, that's a great measuring stick for where this team is. We can figure out each and every problem that we've got from this Bengals game. Each and every one of them. If we have any at all. Truthfully, every problem that we've run into so far in the last 3 games, we've been able to fix in-house. We haven't had to do anything. We haven't had to spend a dime. And that's a very encouraging sign right there that you are building towards the right goal. And that's a playoff spot. The lack of us winning in the trenches against Atlanta, that could be fixed in-house. The penalties on the offensive line where you got one lineman that just goes ineligible wide receiver, that could be fixed in-house. Our lack of catching from Chuba and Ian Thomas and Tommy Tremble, that was fixed in-house. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the stuff I'm talking about. This is coaching. All of this stuff is coaching, and we fixed it in-house. We didn't have to spend a single dime. And that's the beauty of it. I've been saying that for a few years now. People didn't want to hear that. We've had talented players for the last 7 years, and people don't even realize that a lot of these issues could have been fixed here, in Charlotte, in the Carolinas, without even spending a single dime. All it took was some proper coaching, and a coaching staff that actually cared, and taught the basics and the mechanics and the discipline that these guys needed. And the chemistry. Built up that chemistry. Work with these guys. And we fixed that in 3 weeks. Think about that. We fixed all of those issues in 3 weeks. Then it took Matt Rule 2 years. 2.25 years to try to fix. And he never found the answer because he's not an NFL head coach. He's a college coach. Not even a top level college coach. He's a bottom level division coach. With all due respect, until he proves us all wrong, and I hope we never see him in Carolina again. You know, as a head coach. I'm sorry, I don't want to see him no more. We're done. Happy trails to you. We're on to Steve Wilks. And Steve Wilks did in 3 weeks what he could never do. And that's make this 53-man roster a squad. A real competitive squad that is capable of going out there against any team in the league and competing for 4 whole quarters, whether you win or lose. You know exactly what you're going to get. Do you guys know that Thomas Davis was out there during the Wednesday practice? And you know, that man didn't even come out there during Ron Rivera's last 2 years. After he was moved to Washington, he never came out to any of our practices. He sure as heck came out to that one. I was like, wait a minute now. You draw Thomas Davis's attention, you're doing something right. And Luke Kuechly has been up there too? Bruh. That's 2 dogs right there. That's 2 animals that were on this defense back in the day. Part of the Super Bowl squad. Both of them were out there in the last 2 weeks. That's how you know you're doing something right. And Steve Wilks is installing that 2015 mindset. Everything that we were doing back in 2015 to make it successful, he is doing that right now. In 3 weeks' time. Mr. Tapper, make this easy on everybody, man. This is an easy choice for head coach. This is easy. It's a no-brainer. The more you listen to it, do y'all really need me to go through the presser that he went through the last 2 or 3 weeks to prove it to y'all, man? Because if y'all need any more convincing after that, I don't know what to tell you. That man said accountability, consistency, all the things that you are looking for out of a head coach to say. And he's not just saying them, he's putting them into action. And look at the rest of the schedule right now, as competitive as we are. Putting up what we did this week, these last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm telling y'all, if you need any more convincing after that this dude is the right guy for the job, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, Steve Smith has his own press conference, his own podcast. So does Jonathan Stewart. So if you guys haven't checked those out, go check them out. You know, those are cool. I'll give those guys some free advertising. I don't mind. You know, those guys were Super Bowlers, man. Those guys were legends to me. I don't mind giving them free advertising up in here, man. Much love to y'all. For real. If either one of y'all want to come up in here and chat, man, and join the stream, come on in. We would love to have you. You know, anytime y'all want to. You know, just hit me up and let me know when you're available. And we'll do a stream together, y'all. Absolutely, bro. Greg Olson, too. I've heard he's doing some stuff, too. You know? And Luke Kuechly is the announcer each week. You know, it's... The legends are here. They're talking. You know, they're showing you the path. And Steve Wilkes has figured this out, man. And he's taking advantage of it, and he's creating that path again for us in 2022. That same mindset, that same everything, energy, motivation, everything that you saw back in the day, he's recreating it. And God, is it beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing I've seen in Carolina in 7 years. For real. Like, I can't say enough good things right now to describe what I'm seeing. You know, and we take that into the Bengals game and we say, okay, do we have a shot? Do we have a chance? So, we got our hands full. And I gotta hope that Dante Jackson and J.C. Horn are both healthy and ready to go for this Sunday game and set up to handle this business. You know, and Frankie's out there to handle the run and all these screen plays and all this stuff. Sweep plays, counter plays. You know, Frankie can handle it. He's the next A.J. Klein out there. Speaking of A.J. Klein, I heard he got traded. So, if I'd have known that dude was going to be on the trading block, I'd buy this dude on the outside. You could not. As an outside linebacker, every time you saw him out there and you were a running back, you feared him. Back in the day. Every time you tried to run that ball, especially the outside on A.J. Klein, there ain't no way. He's not going to let you get anywhere. And he may have lost a step or two, you know, in his trip to Chicago, you know. That's where he's ending up now from the Bills. But the fact that McDermott had A.J. Klein in that secondary for as long as he did, think about that now. He was in the Sean McDermott crew. McDermott was the head coach, the defensive coordinator back in 2015. A.J. Klein was a linebacker in that crew. Guys, I'm new with some nasal signage here, but you know it is what it is. It's that time of year. Anyway, bear with me. But yeah, it stands to reason that McDermott would want him on that Bills defense as a starter or even as a backup. So the Bears have him now, and I guarantee you he's going to end up as a starter if he's not going downhill in the last few years of his career. If that's the case, he'll probably be second string. To who? I don't know. Because I don't follow the Bears. Unless there's some major trade going on like Roquan Smith. You know, I don't keep up with stuff like that. If we start playing the Bears, yeah, I'll start looking at them. If the Bears start going on like a massive run and make themselves relevant, then I'll pay attention to them. But right now, I'm not interested. You know? So... But that trade got my attention, though. Because he was one of the last few, like, real strong monster players that we had on that Super Bowl team. So, of course, that got my attention immediately. But Frankie is becoming A.J. Klein 2.0. I'm trying to tell y'all right now. We're seeing it live and in action. And Steve Wilkes sees it too. So does Luke. So does Thomas Davis. All three of them see it. And that's why he's being coached up by these guys. That's exactly why. Because they see it, bro. This is the next leader of our defense. I'm calling it right now. And AJ Klein would have been the next, replacement for Luke Kuechly when Luke retired eventually down the road. Or Thomas Davis. He would have been the next Thomas Davis replacement. You know? He was that good. So now we have Frankie Louvu on our starting three. And what I'm telling you is we need to build around that. We need to build all the way around that. Everything we can do to build around that, we need to do it. These guys are our core right here. You got two solid cornerbacks right now. You got this is a unit. This is a pack of wolves out here. You know what I'm saying? Look at what they've done in the last 3 weeks. That's a pack of wolves right there. These guys are predators. And that's exactly what I've been preaching on. If you're a predator, go be a predator as a player. Don't be the prey. Be a predator. And that's my advice for Keith Taylor. Keith Taylor's been struggling with the coverage issues, and he's getting burned a lot. My advice to you, Keith, and I want to see the best out of you, man, because I know you can do better. Because I know I've seen more out of you than what you're showing right now. So here's my advice to you, bud. Do some film study. Understand what coverages you need to be in. Where, when, and how. And don't mess up. Practice this stuff. Be aware. If they start adjusting, adjust with them. You know what I mean? If you can't physically do it, fair enough. That'll show up on tape. But if you can keep up with them, now I'm a monster out there during a Rams game. But, if you get beat up by a Falcons wide receiver, come on, man. You get burnt by a Falcons wide receiver? Nah, dog. Be a predator. I want to see you come back out there next week. Either this week or next week, and show that these wide receivers that you mean business. And you can do the things that they don't think you can do. Alright? Turn your weakness into a strength. Look what Shaq did, against the Buccaneers. This dude turned his weakness of coverage issues into a strength. That's what I want to see you do. Turn it into your strength. He got 2 pass deflections, by the way. That's called being a predator. And flipping the script. That's what I need to see from you, Keith. Can you do it, man? I believe in you. I got faith in you. I want to see that. I want to see that dog mentality come out of you. Because I ain't seen it yet. And I know it's there. I know it's there because I seen it in training camp, bro. I seen it in person. Show me. And that's what I want to see from the rest of this D-line. Now that you show me that you can be a dog on that line, you can be a predator, show me again. Don't stop at just 1 week. Keep showing me. Keep showing all of us, man. Because when you keep proving that, it's going to lead to good things. It's going to take the pressure off that secondary and let them do their job. Y'all get off the field sooner. Don't let these old lines bully you. I don't care what they look like. They could look like five versions of the Hulk out there. So you turn into the Hulk and you battle him back. You know what I'm saying? Bring out the dog in you. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. You got it in you. Show us. Alright, so, do we have a shot against the Bengals? Right now it's 50-50. I'm not saying yes. I'm not a business out there. Yes, we do have a shot if we win in the trenches. Now, if we don't win in the trenches and we let these Cincinnati Bengals offensive linemen drive us into the ground, excuse me, then in that case, we don't. And it's going to be an old-fashioned shootout. You know what I mean? So, offensively, do we have a shot against the Bengals? PJ is going to play like PJ. You know? TMJ is going to get the ball. We're going to spread the ball around. You know, Foreman's going to do what Foreman does. Run circles around him. So, do we have a shot on offense? Playing the way we have been? Yeah. It's going to take a few deep balls, but we can do it. And I want to see if PJ can do this consistently. He's done it for 2 weeks now. Can you do it consistently? Take about 2 or 3 deep ball shots, man. And let the rest of these be short and medium passes. Just do what you are best at doing. You know? And Steve has figured this out. He's figured out what everybody's best at and what he's weak at. What these guys are weak at. And he says, I'm going to let these guys do what they do. You know? I'm going to turn them loose and let them do what they do. Essentially, that means let them play to the best of their ability. To their strengths. So, for example, Foreman is a power runner. You know? Use him as such. And he is. You know? TMJ is a threat in medium situations. He's going to use them as such. You know, flat routes, out routes, all of this stuff. That's exactly what you're going to see. So, I mean, this offense can be nasty, man, if we open it up. Our concern, we got to get rid of this this ineligible man downfield penalty. That's got to go if you want to win games. We got to win the battle in the trenches on the D-line. That's got to happen. No more lollygagging out there if you want to win. I want all 4 quarters from these guys. So does Steve Wilkes. Where these guys are coming out there and they are playing to the best of their ability. And they're playing with heart. They're playing with guts. They're playing with spine and backbone. They're playing with chemistry. They're playing with functionality. You know, they're playing with practicality. They're playing and holding each other accountable and helping each other out when necessary. You know, this is the team. What we saw against Tampa Bay, that's exactly it right there. That's the bar right there that we want to set for this team. And we want to build on that. And we built on it last week. I feel like in a lot of ways. How does that translate to the Cincinnati game? We keep doing the things right that we were doing right. And we correct the things that need to be corrected. And when we do that, we ball out. Point blank, we ball out. And we put everything into these games, man. You know, another great thing I saw during that Atlanta game, and I'm talking just positive things I've seen out of that Atlanta game. Because we did everything right, we should have won that game. So everything that we did right, that was the most heart I've ever seen this team give in at least a good 5-7 years. These guys came out and they wanted it. Worse than I've ever seen against the Falcons. In the best way possible. They wanted it. I saw heart out there, man. I saw motivation and I saw heart. And I saw confidence in that Atlanta game. When's the last time you have seen a Panthers team that felt that confident that they can go out there against a tough, ragtag Atlanta team and go out there and just shut them down in a lot of ways for most of that game? When's the last time you saw that? Excuse me. That gave me chills, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's the Wilkes difference right there. That's the Steve Wilkes difference. Point blank. And you're gonna keep seeing it week after week after week after week. This man is slowing down. He's heating up. He's just getting started. Give this man complete control of this team with Scott at the helm at GM. Man. I'm excited to see what this team can become. Once we get rid of that cap issue, that's it from there. That's the only thing holding us back. And I'm going to straight up tell you, that's not even the full depth chart that we're going to be rocking with in 23. Not like we had in 14 and 15. It's not even going to be the full chart. 24 is when we're going to have the full chart, and we're going to take the NFC with a iron fist. We're going to make them respect us in 24. We're going to make them respect us again. There were teams that feared us on those 14 and 15 runs. Feared us. Because they had no idea how to stop what we were doing. We had so many monsters on this team. They couldn't stop us, bro. It was so wild. And we stopped ourselves is what happened. Well, with Scott running the show now, that's not going to happen now. Not again. With Wilkes running the show, that's not going to happen again. Look how much on page Scott and Wilkes are already. Just in 3 weeks. When you hear those two talk and find out how on the same page they are, that's something refreshing and beautiful to listen to. Let me say this. Steve Wilkes has a meeting with all of these players in each position in the same room. Not separately, in the same room. To ensure that everybody's on the same page. To ensure that there is communication. That's something you don't see out of Ron Rivera. That's something you don't see out of John Fox. That's something you don't see out of any. You want somebody to boost up your resume, Mr. Wilkes? I got you. I got your back, man. I'm with you, bro. 100%. I'm ride or die with Steve Wilkes right now. Ride or die with this dude right here. And right now, we riding. We riding, y'all. Real talk. Alright, so. Let's take a look at this Bengals depth chart, shall we? Shall we, ladies and gentlemen? And I want to mention one other thing. If you made a mock draft of the number 3 draft spot, that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. You know, if you did this week. And I've seen a couple of them. You know, one of them was by Dean Jones. And I did one myself off camera. And I saw a lot of good stuff. You know, so I said, okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. You know, and Dean hit all the major positions that we needed, you know, thus far, of positions that we have not let people go to avoid the cap issues. So I was real thrilled with that. You know, I was like, okay, cool. I can see this. You know, an Alabama quarterback or Alabama running back. You know, we hit defensive tackle. We hit defensive end, linebacker. He actually had 2 linebackers on his draft board. I was like, that's cool. You know, a wide receiver and an offensive tackle. I was like, yes, sir. In the exact order, you know, of where these guys are going to appear. You know, as far as like trying to get positional wise. These players. Where these guys are going to start dropping. And I was like, okay, cool. But here's the only issue with that. 2 issues. One, we can't guarantee how many other people are going to get cut or moved at the end of the year to appease the draft. The cap room issue, you know, which we're sitting just under $1 million right at the moment for 23. So we got to make money for 23 somehow. Secondly, we're not going to be sitting at number 3 at the end of the year in draft picks. There ain't no way. Now, I've seen a playoff team in a weak division like ours with a weird year, you know, end up with it in a 7-8 team, you know, or an 8-8 team, you know, and still end up with the top 15 pick. You know, that's not unusual. Maybe even a top 10 pick in some cases. But some rare cases. That's not a bad thing. That just means you need to adjust your mock drafts to match that. So while I was doing it, my mock draft, I ran across a Mr. Henderson, you know, at left guard. And I started looking at this dude's highlights and I said, there's no way. And I'm going to show you guys who I'm talking about in just a second here. But in an offensive guard, yeah, Ladarius Henderson from Arizona State. He's third on the list. He's number 56 when you're talking PFN. And I encourage everybody to look this dude up because I started looking at his highlights and I said, even though that was a smaller game against Washington, he was bowling people over, bro. He was getting second level blocking. He was running people over. And I was like, okay, let's see him against a ranked team. Excuse me. So I'm gonna look up Arizona State's scoreboard here. Let's just see how they did. I'm looking specifically for them. I think they play Thursday, maybe. Yeah. All right. Arizona State. They are currently losing to UCLA right now. And I wish I wasn't streaming so I could watch a little bit of this, and just watch him specifically. Because that dude had my full attention. If you can bowl over people in Washington, you can bowl over people against UCLA. Alright, so I'm currently looking at him in between the 10 and 15 range right now for a first round. Most of the rest of these guys in that top 10 group of guards are right guards. So that's the issue. Maybe some of them have played left guard. I don't know. Stages of researching these guys, This is just the first name that's popped out to me so far. But I'm going to do a bit more research this week, and we're going to see what we're doing with. But 10 to 15, I'm looking at that and I'm going, hold up. That's what we're looking for right there. That's what we need. We need a dog on this offensive line. You know what I mean? Even at second string, we need a dog. Tom has gone back? What do you mean? Oh, you mean the stream is messing up again? Is it good? From 1 to 10, how excited are you for tomorrow's game? Oh, absolutely. 8 or 9, man. Because I want to see how we match up against these guys. I want to see where our bar is. In every area of this team. This is the most excited I've seen this crew in a while. And let's just see how we do, man. Like, no better. Oh, okay. We just gained an hour. Okay, so it was 2 a.m. and it went back to 1 a.m. Got you, man. Got you. Daylight savings. Appreciate it. Alright, so we're at the 1 a.m. mark. Cool, man. Alright. That being the case, we got a little more time to do what we need to do here, man. But yeah, we need a dog on this offensive line, and I think Henderson might be the guy. Real talk, I think he might be. Um, Let me check and make sure y'all can see what I'm seeing. There we go. There we go. Darius Henderson. That's the guy I'm talking about right here. 6'4", 310. I mean, real talk, man. The dude looks like a whale on this offensive line for Arizona State. When I saw him, I was like, this dude looks way bigger than the other guy that he was facing. Way bigger. I'm sitting there, and then I'm thinking, like, okay, what if we get our shot at him? Alright, so you look at the other guards on this list. You look at Osiris. You look at Emil. You look at Matthew Bedford, Layden Robinson, Jarrett Patterson. Most of these guys are right guards. Javian Coheen, Andrew Voorhees, and yes, Andrew Voorhees, man. Just like Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, you know. Love that last name, Voorhees. That's awesome. Oh, you gotta appreciate a name like that. And he's a football player? Man, ain't nobody gonna mess with this dude. He's gonna pull a Jason on you. But hey, I love it though. Most of these guys are right guards. You know, Emo was part of that crew last year. And he elected to take that fourth year of his college years. So he's back now. What else we got? You got Matthew Jones down here at 189 from Ohio State, but I don't know, man. Ohio State offensive linemen are a huge question mark because you don't know what you're going to get. You know, that late into the first round, second round, you're probably getting like a B plus guy, most likely. But if you're looking for that star guy that's going to start right out of the gate, you know, like we got with Icky, you know, you're not going to get that out of an Ohio State guy. That's more of a 1 year developmental guy. And then he's ready to go. You know, like Cade Mays is. You know, Brady Christensen was too. You know, we had to take a year to get him ready. We kind of threw him into the fire because we were playing musical chairs trying to find our starting five, but because Matt Rule had no idea what he was doing. You know, so granted, I wanted Brady to start right away last year, but you know that's neither here nor there. I felt like he could, but you know that's him, Deontay Brown, and Cade Mays. All three of them were on my radar, highly on my radar last year. So I hit like 3 out of 6 of these offensive linemen last year that were on my mock drafts. And I'm quite proud of that. That shows me I'm starting to get some rhythm here and starting to understand how this works with offensive linemen. I don't profess to be a genius about it. I don't profess to be the smartest guy out here or a draft expert. You know, I'm not that. I'm starting to get the hang of this though, y'all. On 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 6. That means I'm doing my due diligence correctly, which is a good thing. That helps everybody here, including this team, so that we can give the proper recommendations that may or may not be on Scott's list right now. You know, now I could be off on this one, but I just have a funny feeling he's gonna be on that list later on when I start doing mock drafts in March and April. I got a feeling, bro. And that gut feeling is rarely ever wrong. But I think we start there. That's a good starting point. But I showed you that just to show you him specifically, because we need that left guard. Alright, Bengals depth chart. Let's start here, man. We'll get more into the mock drafts and who we should probably draft later on. We might have like a mock draft stream or something. Maybe around noonish one day, maybe one day. Who knows? We'll do something, man. I'm considering it. It'll probably be mid-afternoon, early afternoon, if we do. Or early morning. We'll see. Alright, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is a very dangerous wide receiver. If you're not familiar with him, let's start there. 6'0", 201 pounds from LSU. This was a star wide receiver out of that that crew from Joe Brady's offense when he was there at LSU. He has now recorded 47 catches, 605 yards, 12.87 average, and 6 touchdowns for the Bengals. This dude is legitimate. And just in the past 2 weeks, he's put up over 130 yards and 2 touchdowns each week in both of the last 2 weeks. So that's 4 total. And his longest pass against the Saints was 60. His longest one against the Falcons was 41. 2 teams we have just played against, ladies and gentlemen. In our own division. This is what he has done to those defenses. Now, I'm not saying that our wide receivers can't be capable of doing that and matching him. What I'm saying is, that's what he's done the last 2 weeks. That ain't good. Because if you ain't careful, he's going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Just like he did with the last 2 corners. Now, I will be willing to bet, because A.J. Terrell was out week 7 against the Bengals, that he probably played his backup, and he racked up 130 yards there. Saints don't have much of a corner crew. So, it's possible he probably played against one of the weaker corners and racked up 132 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Saints. It's possible. Now, maybe I'm reaching here. Maybe. But that's what I'm seeing right now on this board, and I'm thinking, that's a possible scenario. Very possible scenario. Because the last few weeks, before that, your best game was against the Dolphins, 4 for 81. But yeah, you got a touchdown against the Jets defense. Okay. He got one against the Steelers defense. And the Steelers defense is bad. Okay? It's real bad. So, 10 catches for 129 against them. Steelers have been garbage this year. So to me, that kind of tells me the Saints defense was not that spectacular at corner position. If he racked up 132 on them, unless it's a backup, then that's the only way I can see that happening. Okay. But those are your numbers so far this season, and it's not pretty. We gotta watch out. Career. Career-wise, y'all, last year, you're looking at 81 receptions for 1,455 yards for the entire year. 13 touchdowns. 56 first downs. He's already halfway there already through 7 games this year. And he's ripped 22 20 plus yarder plays. So you got to be careful, man. Don't let this guy out, or he will burn you. Last year, one this year. He was NFL Rookie of the Year. And he had 266 receiving yards in the AFC clinching win over the Kansas City Chiefs in a single game Bengals record. Now keep that in mind, because this goes back to 1999 when they set that record. Alright, so you're talking Torrey Holt against him, right? What's the second best one? Whew. Man. He topped Joseph Adai's numbers as well. Which, I mean, technically Joseph Adai was a running back. But that's besides the point. He was a wide receiver as well. That was, realistically, that age of NFL football was this. A lot of them got drafted in those, 5 draft classes around that time. Bottom line is this. NFL Rookie of the Year. This is somebody you don't screw around with. Okay? Get it done. Shut him down. If he's out there, shut him down. Go hard. But play cleanly. Alright, Alright. So another one I'm noticing is T. Higgins. And here comes all the people that are saying, oh, you got Clemson biased on here right now. Stop it. Alright? T. Higgins, I knew this dude was special as soon as I saw him in that first spring practice in Clemson. I knew he was special. I was like, here comes another beast right here at wide receiver. And Clemson has done such a great job of recruiting wide receivers. You know, you got DeAndre Hopkins, you got Sammy Watkins, you got Hunter Renfrow. Now you got T. Higgins coming out of that Travis Etienne draft class about 3 years ago. You know, right along with Trevor Lawrence. That crew won a national title. So, you're looking at a 6'4", 219-pound guy. Fast as lightning. 34 catches, 504 yards. 14.82 average. And 3 touchdowns. So, you're looking at a guy that has yards after the catch. And y'all know how I feel about that stat right there. Y'all already know how I feel about that one. If you have it, you are already off to a very, very hot start for your career in the first 3 years. And this dude's got it. And I heard people talking about him early on, you know, when he got drafted. They had no idea who he was. And the second I saw him start taking off in those first few games in the NFL, I was like, that's who he is. Welcome to Mr. T. Higgins. You know what I'm saying? I knew who this dude was. You know, this ain't new to me. He's been doing this for a long time. Dude's a beast. In the animal. You got his numbers up here. You got 3 catches for 49 against the Browns and a touchdown. You got 5 catches for 93 yards against the Falcons. 6 catches for 47 against the Saints. 7 for 124 against the Dolphins defense. And a touchdown. 5 for 93 against the Jets defense. 6 for 71 against the Cowboys defense and a touchdown. You know, in the Steelers game, 2 for 27. But still, he was barely throwing 2 during that game. They were looking at other targets. But as of right now, you are looking at T. Higgins last year had 74 catches for over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. Dude was a monster, man. He's over 2,500 yards for his career so far in 3 years. And 15 touchdowns. You know, he does have a bit of a fumbling issue, but, I mean, 1 per year. Come on. Are you really going to hold that against him? Really? You know, come on. He's almost up to 1,000 yards already in 2020. You know, just in 16 games in 2020. In 14 games, he managed to pull it off. He got over 1,000 yards. You know, he's up to 500 yards now. At 8 games into the season. He's on track for another 1,000-yard season, y'all. And 6 touchdowns at the end of the year. Do not let this man out of your sight. Or he will roast you. Like a Thanksgiving turkey. I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to say it again. Do not let this man out of your sight, or he will roast you. Alright, so that's T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd. Everybody knows who Tyler Boyd is. You know, no need to go there. Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, I kind of want to get into him because he's from Oklahoma, 6 years into the league, 6'1", 220-pound guy. He's got 129 carries, 432 yards, 3.35 average, and 2 touchdowns. You know, this is one of the better running backs out there. You know, you got to keep an eye on him, especially in receptions. The reason I say that, look at the numbers. Now, they may not look like much, but that is every single game consistently he's getting thrown to. On screenplays and on bubble screens and stuff like that. He's getting thrown to. And you notice that average is creeping up there to 4 point whatever it is, you know, each week. He started to kind of take a back seat rushing wise and started to focus more on the receiving game. So what you'll see is him on the outside, you know, taking these screen plays, taking these slot passes and stuff like that. That's where you're going to see him at. But early on, you know, in week 6, 5 and 6, he was average putting up some nice numbers against the Ravens and Saints. So I don't know, man. Everybody saw that average, you know, before those 2 games and went, you know, for the first 4 weeks, and they said, this guy ain't nothing. And then you look at weeks 5 and 6, and you go, hold up a minute. This dude's for real. We got to start paying attention to this guy. You know, that's how this season's going for him so far. You know, he's got a receiving touchdown against the Saints. So what that tells me is that Saints secondary is a little bit depleted. And if we run into that in week 16, we're good, dude. We can take full advantage of that. We got TMJ, we got Shy Smith, we got all these weapons. One of these guys is going to rack up 2 touchdowns against them. If that's how they're rolling right now. Now, again, I could be wrong. But he got a rushing touchdown against the Falcons. So there you go. Career-wise, he's 1,100 yards or more. And in 2021, last year, 13 touchdowns. In 2018, he had 8. Total of 35 so far in his career. But you notice where that average was during that time. I just got to point that out. It's over 4. And look how many carries he's got in those 2 years to get to over 1,100 yards. 18, 19, and 21 were the 3 years he got over that mark. And let me also point out the 4.9 right here. Hmm. Just something to keep in mind when you're dealing with him out there on Sunday. He was one of the most valuable players during Cincinnati's run to the Super Bowl. God, Cincinnati and Super Bowl in the same sentence. It feels weird, doesn't it? It feels weird. To me, anyway. I don't know about y'all, but it just feels weird. But people are starting to take these guys seriously, though. As such, they should. This was a very dangerous roster last year. They lost a small handful of guys, but I mean, overall, they managed to keep most of them. So we move on to the Bengals defense. You know, obviously, Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow. We know who he is at this point. If you don't, go look up some highlights on YouTube. Now, the Bengals defense. The name that's going to stand out to everybody on this defense is going to be Eli Apple. Eli Apple was on our team for a little bit. That's why that name stands out to you. Von Bell is another name that's going to stand out to people. But if you manage to do it, you manage to do it. You know. Trey Flowers. Trey Flowers used to be a backup for the longest time for the Chiefs. And this dude hasn't lost a step yet, in my opinion. He's still got it. Some people don't think he does, but he's already got 7 tackles. There you go. Just in case people are not familiar with Eli Apple, 6'1", 203, Ohio State guy. 7 years in the league, 14 solo tackles. Didn't really do much this defensively. One thing I want you guys to notice is the pass deflection number that I'm highlighting right here. 42 for his career. 42. How do you have a -1 pass deflection? How does that work? Huh? Or am I reading that wrong? Oh. I'm reading it wrong. Okay, that's just 1. I had some dust on my screen, sorry. I was about to say, how do you have -1? There's no way. But, yeah. The number you're looking at is 42 pass deflections for his entire career, Eli Apple. So that's what you got to be on guard for when you face him. He's only had 1 so far this year. Be aware of that. Normally that number is a lot higher. So, by the end of the year. So he's due. First in pass deflections. I'm expecting him to get at least 1 against us tomorrow. In fact, I'm guaranteeing at least 1. But the thing is, you can burn him in coverage, though. Alright, so it's been an interesting year for him. Um, he's flip flopped quite a few teams now. He was with the Giants for 3 years, Saints for 2, one, so realistically, that's your Bengals depth chart. So, I don't think Joseph Osai. Is that Osai? Yeah. Osai from Texas. Watch out for this dude. If he ever finds the field, man, he ain't showing much this year so far. But if he ever finds the field, man, he was the one that got that sack on Tom Brady, if y'all remember, in preseason. Got that left knee injury. I do remember that guy, man. That name stood out to me. Played for the Texans. And he actually blocked a PAT. So, go figure. I'm pointing him out because that name's important. Alright, let's see. I'm not as familiar with some of the rest of these guys. So, we'll learn about them as we go going into Sunday, but realistically, this defense is legitimate. It is. Clearly they paid their dues. They got the job done. The Bengals have gotten their wins. So, yeah. To me, this crew's legit. Steve Wilkes is going to focus on mechanics. He's going to focus on all the small things going into this Bengals game. And I think that's the right way to go. Because the fine-tuned details will matter. I think that's really it as far as the depth chart. Unless y'all want to cover somebody on there. Now, here's where things get interesting. You got 4 players listed out for the Bengals. 2 questionable, and a lot of them without a designation. So let's go with the guys that are out. Awuzie. A lot of people have been talking about Awuzie. Knee injury. He's out. Jamar Chase. We're not going to be dealing with him on Sunday. Hip injury. He is out. Collins, the offensive tackle. Rest from an illness. Did not practice and he's questionable. He's probably not going to play. Trey Flowers, we got a hamstring injury. Did not practice throughout the week. He is listed as questionable. He's not going to play. I doubt it. Mike Hilton, finger issue. He's out. Josh Tupo. Sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Tupo? I don't even know if I got it right. But If I did not, I apologize. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I do encourage that. And proper pronunciations, let me know if I do get you guys' names wrong. Calf injury, did not practice throughout the week, and he's out. Okay. So your full practice people are Eli Apple, Stanley Morgan, Sam Hubbard, Samar J, Max, Joseph, Osai, and then Akeem. So essentially, what you're doing with is two hamstring injuries, two finger injuries, an ankle injury, and two personal reasons. But Akeem did not practice on Friday, therefore probably out. Yes. We got Justin Burris in the concussion protocol. He's out for the week. Dante Jackson, ankle injury, questionable. Limited practice on Friday. Stephen Sullivan, illness, doubtful for Sunday, which means he probably won't play. J.C. Horn, ankle injury, still nursing that thing. Full practice on Friday, limited practice on Wednesday and Thursday. So I would expect to see Horn out there. Hubbard, ankle injury, limited practice on Wednesday, Thursday. Did not practice on Friday. He's designated as out. So we get that word way early on that one. Frankie Luvu's shoulder injury, limited practice on Wednesday, full practice on Thursday and Friday. We're going to see Luvu out there. Higgins, illness, did not practice Thursday and Friday. He's out. Okay, Sam Franklin, illness, full practice. He's going to be in. Unavailable for us. Taylor Moton, offensive tackle with a rest injury. Designated status there. Did not practice Thursday. Full practice on Friday. Question mark. We got Higgins with an illness. Just mentioned him. Sam Franklin, illness. Full practice. He'll play. Taylor Moton, rest. Did not practice on Thursday. Full practice on Friday. So we'll expect to see Taylor Moton on the line. Good. Barno, knee injury. Limited, full practice. And questionable. Alright. That is your injury report for this week of week 9. The important ones are going to be Luke, J.C. Horn, and Dante Jackson out of that list. If all three play, we've got a shot on defense. I hate to see Justin Burris on concussion protocol. That sucks. So it is what it is. I hate to see it. Everybody else does too, but it is what it is. I don't know if there's anything else really to throw in there other than that preparation right there for this Bengals team. You guys know who to look out for. You guys know what we're dealing with. So, that being said, let's predict some games for this week. And congrats to the Houston Astros, World Series champs. Good for them. Happy to see it. You know, we played against them last year. My bravos. And, you know, back-to-back appearances in the World Series, and the Houston Astros actually won it. You know, in baseball. So, good for them, man. Happy to see that. When you're talking college football, LSU beat Alabama. So this is Alabama's second loss now. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of good people come out of Atlanta. Alabama, I'm sorry. Alabama. A lot of big names. So for LSU to get that huge win right there, you know, that's crazy. I won't follow those three for now. Let's see. What do we got? Tennessee loses to Georgia in a huge upset. So Georgia takes control again this year. Wow. So if you got any Georgia people coming up to the draft, now would be the time to start looking at them. Syracuse got beat as well. We're not really paying attention to them. We've got what else is going on here? NC State with a wild upset over Wake. That's something we should keep an eye on. Trojans beat Cal. UCLA beats Arizona State. Okay. But still, Arizona State manages to put up 36 against UCLA. That tells me that that left guard is for real. The fact that they managed to put up 36 against a ranked opponent. Henderson's for real. That's all I needed to know right there. I don't know about y'all. I've been keeping an eye on this dude, though. Ever since I found him. Okay. There we are. Alright, let's make some week 9 predictions, shall we, guys? Chargers and the Falcons. I got a win for the Chargers. Falcons did manage to put up some massive points against it, man. It's going to be the Chargers game there. 5-3 improved record there. Falcons dropped to 4-5. Miami and Chicago. Miami wins. Miami goes up to 6-3. Bears go down to 3-6. And why is this important? Because we have 5 losses. The Bears have 6 after this one. So we go above them in the draft order. Green Bay and Detroit. This might finally be the one game Detroit actually wins. because Green Bay is really struggling. Green Bay goes down to 3-6. Okay, so Raiders and Jacksonville. The Raiders, they're great. No, they're not. No, they're not at all. 2-5 record against Jacksonville. Jacksonville wins. Jacksonville improves to 3-6. Las Vegas moves down to 2-5. All right, so that's my predictions so far. Indy and the Patriots. I've got New England going up to 5-4, finally breaking 500. Finally breaking 500 ball against the Colts. Colts go down to 3-5-1. Buffalo and the Jets. I got Buffalo winning, going to 7-1. Jets go down to 5-4, but a very, very dangerous 5-4 record right there. Don't sleep on the Jets. Seattle, Arizona. That's a 50-50 game for me. I don't know. I got Seattle on that one. 6-3 record after that one for Seattle. Arizona drops to 3-6. Rams and Tampa Bay. Rams win. They get to 500, 4-4. Buccaneers drop to 3-6. Why is this important? Because we passed the Buccaneers and get into second place. Doing with only the Falcons on November 10th for the division lead. Tennessee and KC. Okay. And KC improves to 6-2. Tennessee goes down to 5-3. Tennessee is out of the league right now. They're playing over their heads. They're about to find out against KC. KC's way more loaded. Alright, so you got Philadelphia. You got Houston. Philly wins 29-17 overall score. You know, I expected it. Philadelphia wins that game. For sure. Texans are a mess. Baltimore and the Saints on Monday night. That's the magical one right there. I think Baltimore is stronger than the Saints are. Baltimore goes up to 6-3. Saints go down to 3-6. That's your record predictions after week 9. And what happened in week 8? Mostly the same stuff I predicted. Baltimore beats Tampa. Denver wins against Jacksonville. Falcons beat us. Dallas beats Chicago. Miami beats Detroit. Not a surprise there. Shootout. Minnesota beats Arizona in a closer game than I would have liked. Saints win over the Raiders. Expected. New England win over the Jets. A little unexpected. Philly beats Pittsburgh. They're the better team. Tennessee beats the Texans. Easy win there. Washington beats the Colts. Yeah, a little surprising there. San Fran beats the Rams. That's an interesting one. Did not call for that one. All right, Seattle over the Giants. Yep. Buffalo over Green Bay. Yeah. Buffalo. For sure. Much better team. Cleveland 32, Cincinnati 13. Now, the reason I looked at these, and I'm going to show you the Bengals scores. They're 4-4 for a reason. Guys, they've got a much better team than that score lets on. Look at these scores. Yeah, they barely beat the Steelers. Yep. Actually, they lost to the Steelers. They lost to the Cowboys early on. Here's where things start to get interesting. They beat the Jets 27-12. They beat the Dolphins 27-15. Both of these teams are in the AFC playoff picture, by the way. Rams, they lost. Ravens, they lost to by 2 points. They beat the Saints 30-26. They beat the Falcons 35-17. And they took the L to the Browns last week. So, they might be thinking ahead to us, which they shouldn't have been doing. The Browns. Alright, so the Bengals are legit, man. If you look at the wins, Atlanta, the Saints, Dolphins, and Jets. All four of those are legitimate teams. So, I call that 4-4 record legitimate. Alright. Bottom line, you guys know what to do. Win in the trenches. No more stupid penalties. Keep doing what you're doing right. Fix what you're doing wrong. Bulldog mentality, man. Predator mentality. Go out there and show them who you are. Send a message. And with that, is there anything else anybody would like to discuss this Saturday night? I am open to it. We're almost at the 2 o'clock mark in the morning, so if anybody would like to throw anything in chat that is worth talking about, any player names, anything, I'm good for another half hour. You guys want to talk about something? I am good to go. I did say we were going to break down the last of that Steve Smith press conference, didn't we? Podcast, right? Alright, let me see if I found that. History. Alright. Oh, we gotta talk about that schedule. Did the refs screw DJ Moore? Yes, they did. I'm not seeing it in here no more. Anyway. It's gonna be an interesting week. So let's take a look at that schedule coming up. Alright, now, here's what makes things interesting. Let's play a little devil's advocate. Had Steve Wilkes won the job this year, had full control of the draft, free agency, the whole 9 yards this year, going into this season, we would have won against the Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants, the Saints. I don't know about the Cardinals and the 49ers, but we would have taken the Rams game. Buccaneers game would be ours. Falcons game would be ours. We would roll into this game against the Bengals 7-2. 6-2. Alright, so 6-2 against the Bengals. We play hard. Maybe we get the win against the Bengals, and we're not supposed to. It's improbable, but we still got it anyway. Okay. That's 7 wins. 8 wins against Atlanta. So that's 8-2 going into the Baltimore game, y'all. I don't know about y'all. That's got me hyped. I don't know if we get the full win over Baltimore or not in M&T Bank Stadium, because that's, oh boy, I don't know, man. We'll count that as an L for now. Alright, so 8-3. Broncos would be 9-3. That's a win. 9-3 going into the bye week. Seattle. Tough game, but we take the dub. And that's 9. Win over the Steelers. Win over the Lions. Win over the Bucks. And win over the Saints. That's a 2-loss season. With Steve Wilkes as head coach. We're at very worst. That's a 4-loss season. That's enough to get into the playoffs. I don't know about y'all. This got me hyped. That's what I was trying to tell y'all. If we had fired Steve Wilkes at the proper time last year, we wouldn't have to deal with this. This record that we got right now. We wouldn't be here right now. This team would be disciplined. It would be smart. Alright, so But because we're here, alright, let's say we beat the Bengals. We go to 3 wins, 4 wins against Atlanta. Alright, so that's 4 and 5, correct? Going into the Baltimore game. Not bad. Uh, 4 and 5 record. Let's say we take the L in Baltimore. We beat the Broncos. Alright. So that's a 5 and 6 record. Going into the bye. Respectable. Consider our year so far. Seattle. That's the trap game. Guys, if we don't get that win and we let the Seattle trap us right there in week 14, that's trouble. But if we win, we go back to 500 ball. You know, that's a 7 and 7 record. This is where we break the 500 mold against Pittsburgh, 8 and 7. You know, Detroit. We play well against Detroit, we'll win. You tell me. Big win right there. We could beat the Bucks. We could beat the Saints as well. Bottom line is, this season looks real good on paper for us. But we got to take care of business against Seattle, Pittsburgh, and the Lions outside of our division. We can take an L to the Bengals. We can take an L to the Ravens without trouble from the Falcons. But the rest of it has got to be a win. And for us to be expected and respected as the division leader again. Alright. So, with that, I open it up to chat. Black Poppy, shout out to you. Our first moderator on YouTube. Appreciate you. Okay. Anything else, guys? You guys want to talk about anything else? Throw it in chat. We are at the 2-hour mark. I think we've hit on everything that we really want to hit on. I will be there on the 10th for the Falcons blackout game. And I will post a couple days before what seats I'm going to be sitting in so you guys can come by and say hi if you're at the game on the 10th. Beyond that, you know, any players you want to talk about, throw them in chat. Anything specific to this game on Sunday, throw it in chat. Let's talk about it. I'm throwing it to chat right now. So I've covered every subject I can think of to cover so far. Alrighty. Well, daylight savings time, get you guys some rest. I'm about to do the same. And I guess that will do it for this stream tonight. Thank you so much. And short stream tonight, but we covered a lot. Oh, Joe Burrow. Hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Thus far, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, 96.4 conversion rate against the Browns last week. Watch out for Joe Burrow. If we manage to cover him and cover the outside and take care of our business, win in the trenches, do what we do, you know, we got this. We got a shot at this, guys. I'm not even going to hold you. We got a shot at this. All right? Stay happy, healthy, and well. I'll do the mock draft stuff later on. Next stream will be tomorrow. Halftime stream. And we'll see you then.
All kinds of...
Until then, come out like dogs, guys. Come out fighting. That's what we need y'all to do. We need y'all to play like dogs. Predators. Be bloodthirsty. Be clean, but be bloodthirsty, y'all. Alright? Have a good stream, y'all. Have a great night. Sleep well. And of course, keep pounding.